Hello everybody, I am Agnel Angle, and we are back with more Great Ace Attorney. Oh, we have a summation. Oh, I don't wanna.
I have considered the defense counsel's request for a further summation examination of the jury, and I have determined that the court must uphold the defense's judicial right to this procedure.
Why did you hit the gavel?
So, counsel, you will now proceed with your second summation examination.
Thanks. I want to do one so bad.
I presume the jury is ready, Mr. Foreman.
We are, my lord. Is that what he sounded like?
Very good. In that case, I must ask each of you now to state clearly and concisely for the court the grounds on which you find the defendant guilty of this crime.
Do I have to? Do I have to? Alright. What are the jurors' contentions? The accused left behind evidence at the scene, didn't he? Those 3 books of his. Okay. If there was some novel alternative to explanation about how the victim was stabbed, I might reconsider. I cannot remember what she sounded like for the life of me. Even if the woman was throwing books, it can't be related to this crime if the window was closed, can it? It was. It so was. Oh, dearie me! It was only a little book. That's a pretty big book. That would hurt. Especially if that was thrown full force at you. That would hurt. Hardly life-threatening, even with a direct hit. Okay. Look, I just want to get this over with. If I don't bring home some pay tonight, I'll be in a tidy bit of trouble.
Come to think of it, we had a fire at home a while ago. It gave me the sneezes.
Alright.
Yes, considerably more tangible arguments from all members of the jury this time round, it seems.
God, I cannot get enough air for his voice today.
With one notable exception, of course.
Yeah, I wonder who. My learned student friend was unable to find fault in the previous witness testimony. I'm sorry, my companion pointed out that when Rinruno's making that face, it really makes him look like he's checking Lord Van Zeke's out. And that's really funny to me. Even though he's evil to him and awful, he's like, man, he's good looking. I can't blame him. Listen, I can't blame him. So the court must accept the fact that it was indeed the accused seen fleeing from the scene. And moreover... Okay, wow. No one else was even at the scene to commit the crime!
Well, if the eyewitnesses are correct, it would seem as if the conclusion is somewhat set in stone. I fail to see how it can be argued any other way.
That means, I'm afraid, that during this summation examination, it's essential that you establish some other tangible explanation for the facts.
Obviously. But how? What would even constitute a tangible explanation here? Isn't it obvious? Who stabbed the woman and how? Those 2 details are all you need provide. Shut up. Simply give us a name and a method by which the attack was conducted. And there I was thinking this might be hard.
But Mr. Naruhodo, you have to do it. Otherwise, this really will be where the trial ends.
Oh, no pressure then. What do you mean? You knew that this would be where the trial ended.
That's quite enough preamble. Proceed with the summation examination, please. I presume you are prepared, counsel?
Oh, yes, my lord. Alright, Ryunosuke, focus your mind now. Double slap. Clearly, the key to this summation examination is going to be juror number 4, the maid. Or should I say, Miss Garridib.
We have a book that disappeared from the Garridib's house on the evening of the incident, and the 4th book found in the victim's hand.
There must be a way to link the two. Yes, that's what we have to find. Using every technique I've learnt in my short career so far, whatever it takes.
Don't forget to keep an eye on Miss Garridib and how she reacts, even to the things other people say.
So we got, did they do that in the last one? I can't remember. It'll be fine. The only one we're supposed to press is that one. Does that have anything to do with your decision about the defendant's culpability in this case?
Sorry, what's that? You have to speak up, lad.
Oh my god. What on earth was that? I knocked over some lotion. Okay, well. Could you tell us more about that fire? Oh, sorry. Could you tell us more about that fire?
Was last winter. My grandchildren baked me a lovely cake on my birthday. It had 75 candles on the top, it did. What a sight to behold it was.
You put candles on a cake? What was it? Was it some kind of devil worship? Ryunosuke, oh bless him, he doesn't understand.
Of course not.
It was an angel cake. Oh, that's good.
Was an angel cake to celebrate my birthday, obviously.
He looks so troubled by this accusation of devil worshipping.
It seems that's a common custom here in Great Britain, Mr. Naruto.
I like how she had to come up to the stand to tell him that.
Anyway, I mustered all my puff to blow them out. Only I must have blown wrong somehow. The flames didn't go out, but candles went flying all over the room.
I think they just didn't put it in the cake.
The furniture caught and everything went up. The whole place filled with smoke.
Definitely sounds like devil worship to me. That's a house fire, Runo. And by the sneezes, I presume you mean a cold, but how did you catch a cold from a fire?
What a fiasco it was! The grandchildren, bless them, threw water over me as they tried to put out the flames. And then because the whole room had filled up with smoke, of course, we had to open all the windows to clear it.
The windows?
The biting winter air rushed over me like the devil dancing on my grave, it did. I got a terrible cold from it. It put me in hospital for a while.
This poor guy.
I won't forget that birthday in a hurry.
I knew it was devil worship all along. Ryunosuke, what are you on about, man? But something about this old man's story is playing on my mind for some reason. I wonder what. Okay, but the window wouldn't have been closed because it was on fire. Let's go! Pit. These two juror statements clearly contradict one another.
They do? How exactly, counsel?
Don't point at me again, I told you it wasn't me.
What's that you say? Speak up, lad, speak up.
Juror number 3, do you see? Oh, me? Yeah, my vision's perfectly fine, sir. See what, sir? Did you hear juror number 6's account of his birthday celebrations last year? I love how accusatory that is. He's so serious about asking about juror number 6's birthday. It seems, despite being a Londoner, he once opened his windows in the middle of winter. Well, yes, of course, because it was an emergency. I mean, obviously, if the room was filled with smoke from fire, you'd be mad not to open the... Oh! Oh, I love those. Exactly. On the day in question, at the time of the incident, there was a fire in the Garridib household, and Mr. Garridib had the following to say about it. The whole place filled with smoke. my hat. Oh my. I'm glad I got her voice right. How much tea is in that? Too much.
Excuse me.
Juror number 4. Do you have something to say about that? I do need to point out, I like that his, little picture in the corner was pogging. I like it a lot. Miss Garridip! Oh dearie me! What is the meaning of this? How dare you imply that I'm hiding who I really am? It's imperative that you confirm something for the court. So please, it's time to drop the pretense now. What is it? When the fire started in your house that day, did you or your husband open the window? What? I beg your pardon? What are you insinuating? The room would have been thick with smoke after the carpet and bookcase caught fire as they did. In a situation like that, it's inconceivable that you wouldn't have opened the window. And what if we did? Oh, all right then. Yes, you're right. My husband was frantically trying to open the window, which can't have been easy since I continued to give him a justly deserved book battering. Even though your house was on fire. Oh, you never stop throwing until the anger subsides. It would be terribly bad for the nerves to do otherwise. You're so evil. She's so evil. Of course, I should have realized.
That's a significant step forward, Mr. Naruto. You've managed to establish that the window is open. We simply must have that.
Okay, no.
We simply must have that added to Miss Garridip's formal statement.
Her voice is really hard on me today. I'm doing a lot of low voices, so when I get to hers, it's like, it's difficult. You just want to get this over with? How can you sit there and say something like that? A man's future's at stake here. Well, him and me both then, like I said before. I'll be hungry for a day, but he'll go to the gallows. What? I told you already, I'm a day laborer, aren't I? If I don't bring home some readies with me tonight, you'll find me floating face down in the Thames tomorrow morning. What? You gonna get murdered? You heard me, my missus isn't one to mess about, you know. She can be fierce, believe you me. Yeah, not again. Another shining example of marital bliss, then. I'm never getting married or having any kids. My headcanon for him, once again. He has like a brother or something that had kids. I don't think that he loved someone that he was not compatible with. And his someone is gone now. At least with childbearing. And his beloved is gone now. It feels like the game is trying to shove him and Susato down my throat, and I hate that because she's 16 and he's 23. And in this time period, that wouldn't have been that weird, except for the fact that he hadn't had a kid already and he's 23. That would have been strange. But, yeah, no, I hate that. I hate that. I refuse. They're using the time period as an excuse to be pervy, and I dislike it. So we're not doing that. I'm not doing that. I refuse to believe that that is where Phoenix Wright came from. Situation like this cropped up the other day. It was, well, you know, it's funny, but I can't quite remember. Oh my god. Sorry? It was too frightening, that's a thing. I must have blocked it out. Oh my god, this poor guy. Helpful.
I wonder if Mr. Beach will ever be dragged into the Thames by his scarf.
Don't even go there, Miss Susato. I can imagine it happening. There must be some way to jog his memory about this. What? What? Is there? Oh, sorry, we have to press that, and then we have to go back and press that. I don't think the second game does this, because it's stupid. The fourth book found at the scene of the crime shows very obvious signs of fire damage. And the title of the book is The Lion's Pride. The same title, in fact, as the book that Mr. Garridip told us he had been reading. That got destroyed. that he missed? Well, I really couldn't say. That's why you're drinking. I couldn't say because my mouth is full of tea. On the day in question, did you or did you not throw at your husband the copy of The Lion's Pride that he had been reading? I did. Throw her in jail and throw away the key. It was the first thing I could lay my hands on, so I hurled it straight at him. And now you come to mention it, yes. He was rather enjoying reading it, you're right. My gosh. Why did you not reveal this information to the court from the outset? Because I couldn't, you insolent little man. I didn't remember. At times like that, you pick up and throw whatever you can lay your hands on, as well you know. I don't know anything about that. I think you're just a lunatic. I really don't. I barely noticed I was throwing a book, much less the title of it. Uh-oh. We're giving him PTSD.
Excuse me.
What is it, juror number 5? You know something? I've remembered what it was. The memory I'd blocked out. Ah. I was listening to what this granny was saying. She's like 30! She's like 30! I swear. She's 38! Imagine. Oh my god, she's gonna be livid. That's so funny. Run it all flooding back. Who are you calling Granny, you cheeky devil? I'm Miss Garridip or the maid, I'll have you know. Miss Garridip or the maid. The man doesn't even flinch. Please tell me that's not because he's used to being hit all the time. See, this is awful. I hate the way they handle this. It's gross that they're using it jokingly. It really gets on my nerves. So, I'm sorry about that. If this were my first time playing it, I would be much madder than I am right now, because I was. But I'm like, I knew it was coming. That's the difference. I hope that everybody's alright with this, to an extent of being able to watch it, but it is annoying. So, just a warning. It's gonna be annoying. This whole case, pretty much. It was about 2 weeks ago now. I just got back home from after work. I put my hand in my pocket for the wages I'd just earned that day, and I nearly died. There was a hole. Oh no! Every last penny had dropped out. Oh dear, what a disaster. Yeah, that's awful. You hadn't heard the half of it, boy. Oh? The wife was cutting up some chicken at the time. I could hardly get the words out, but I told her straight. I've lost the day's wages, love. Next thing I knew, the blade was whistling past my... Oh my god. I forgot it was that bad. That's attempted murder. Blade was whistling past my ear, stuck into the wall next to me it did, about an inch deep. No words. Just terror. I could smell it then, you know, that god-awful stench of the Thames. I was sure I was gonna end up face down in the muddy banks that night, I can tell you. Oh my god. Now, it's a real disaster, isn't it? I'll never use the word lightly again. Yeah. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is this. When women lose their rag, they'll throw anything at you. Knives, hatchet, hammers, you name it. I think you've just got a bad wife. I don't think that that's women in general.
Mr. Naruhodo, you mustn't think that all women are so short-tempered and unrefined.
Thank you, Susato. No, I wasn't thinking that.
Throwing household objects at people is, well, it's so uncivilized. At least attack with honor, using a bow or the like. Susato, you're not helping! That's not helping! Using a bow or the like, she says. I mean, I like how she has interpreted this as, like, this is a war. Like, it's not abuse. This is a battle. She's very pure. What? Attack? Who are you going to attack? Never mind. Anyway, this man's words could be rather significant, I think.
Alright, we'll come back to the bow and arrow thing later. If I dare. I don't think you should. Okay. This is crazy, right? This is ridiculous. We are going to say that, if she was throwing things, she could have thrown a knife. Just like his wife threw a knife. That also I rhymed. But the funny thing is, how the hell did they throw a knife here and it go all the way across the street and end up perfectly in her bag like that? I don't think it's possible, personally. But that's just me. Excuse me. What does he say? Objection. Those two statements clearly have a deeply significant connection.
Good grief! You mean they don't contradict each other? Explain, counsel, at once.
Juror number 2, do you think perhaps that this could be one such novel alternative?
Oh my, whatever do you mean?
An alternative explanation as to how the victim was stabbed in the back. What are you talking about? We've demonstrated that the 4th book, Lion's Pride, that was found at the scene of the crime, originated in Mr. Garridib's room and on the top floor of his house. Therefore, it's equally possible that some other object besides the book could have found its way from the Garridib household to the street below. Hey, what's that now? After all, Miss Garridib could have thrown any number of different objects at her husband. Isn't that right, juror number 4? What are you insinuating now, you little bean Poe? Excuse you. I'm beginning to think that ever since the true origins of this book came to light, perhaps she's had a feeling this might be what happened. Now you listen here, you Eastern Gala. As the whatever, I don't even know what that means. I hope that's not offensive. As the foreman of this jury, I demand a straight answer. You give us this yarn about some other object making its way out of the house, but what? What? You idiot. Alright, Mr. Foreman. I'll try to explain the defense's theory. The other object that found its way from the Garridib household to the scene of the crime was...
Take that!
Juror number 4, Miss Garridib. What now? I must apologize in advance for this. Don't apologize to her. She doesn't deserve to be apologized to. But I need you to confirm something else for the court. This knife. Have you ever seen this knife before? Oh.
Good Lord, counsel! What on earth are you doing?
She's got it up to her throat. Have you ever seen this knife before, Miss Garridib?
That's the weapon that was lodged into the victim's back, man.
Mrs. Garridib. And only Mrs. Garridib. I'm sure my audience is a big fan of My Cousin Vinny. I'm sure my audience is very familiar with that movie, considering it was 11 years before I was even born. It's a good movie, though. It's pretty funny. I recommend it. My lord, remember that when the victim was attacked, Mr. and Miss Garridib were in the throes of an argument. Miss Garridib was hurling anything she could at her husband who had been backed up against the window. A window that had been opened to clear the smoke, and through which a book sailed to land at the crime scene. You can't seriously believe that! The book was found in the victim's grasp! But it... Are you saying it flew out the window and across the street and landed neatly in her hand? She picked it up, obviously, dipshit. Huh, even my missus ain't got a name like that. Well, yeah, because she didn't murder you. Yes, I admit, there are many details we don't yet understand. But that's the point. That's precisely why we must not allow this trial to end. Not right now.
Oh my!
Oh, sorry.
Miss Garrett, your answer, please. Have you seen this knife before or not? Oh, oh! Uh-oh. Oh. She's dead. Well, shit. I think I might be wrong here. Am I wrong? I think I'm right. My lord!
Oh! Do you like my Van Zeke's impression? I've been working on it. I wish to change my decision. I'm a woman of my word, after all.
Okay. I thought that he was mad at him for making a woman pass out because he's supposed to be chivalrous or whatever, but no, he didn't give a shit. Thank you, madam. Yes, I agree. Yay! I certainly didn't see this coming, but I just didn't think it would be right for this trial to come to an end now with so many unanswered questions. Yay! Mr. Foreman? I'd have to agree. Not that I think the granny did it, mind. I think it's possible. She's a very violent woman. Yes, you know what? I'm not quite happy about this at the moment either. Wow. Okay. All together now, ladies and gents. Gentlefolk. Wow. We did it. Stop being so surprised.
Oh, congratulations, Mr. Naruhodo.
So, as a result of the defense's summation examination, a number of jurors' leanings have changed.
I'm just gonna start calling it a summonation. I hope that's alright.
2 jurors called guilty against 4 now calling innocent. Accordingly, the opinion of this court is divided, and this trial will continue.
Okay. Awesome.
Now then, Lord Van Zeeks, how does the prosecution wish to proceed?
I don't. This trial is rapidly descending into a farce. And he doesn't drink it. You love to see it. Oh my god, he's even pretending that he knows about wine. That's so funny. Like a corked wine, the first few sips are bitter enough. Okay. But what follows is so repugnant it's good for nothing save the gutter. Alright. And we've got, his theme song is very important with him talking about wine. Good to know.
If I may, Lord Van Zeeks, the defense has just put forward a credible alternative explanation for what happened.
Credible? Is that your considered opinion, Mr. Foreman? The defense's argument is a joke to which I barely know how to respond, but let me start by insisting that you must all familiarize yourselves better with the relative positions of those places being discussed. Yeah, exactly. What do you mean by that? What's his angle this time? That's me. It should already be more than apparent that between the crime scene and the Garridib household runs a rather wide street, Briar Road. Yep. Which means that the distance from the Garridib's house to the scene is some, yes, 15 yards.
Let me see. 15 yards. That's around 14 meters.
I don't know your British talk. That's 45 feet. That's pretty big. 14 meters? Oh, that's a little farther than I'd imagined. We were there. Like... And, as you ladies and gentlemen of the jury rightly noted as having portentous significance, the 4th book was found in the victim's clutches. She could have picked it up, trying to find its owner or something. In other words, the smoldering book, wantonly hurled by the lady of the house, traveled some 15 yards to land on the opposite side of the road, neatly between the collapsed victim's fingers and thumb. happened before she was stabbed. Is that your final conclusion, my learned and deluded friend? I swear. And did the jackknife follow a near identical trajectory to plunge into the middle of the victim's back? This fantasy is somewhat stretching the notion of having a bad day for the victim, I think. He's got a point. Get it? Because he was pointing? I'm so funny. Even those pathetic serialized detective stories have more believable plots. He reads rants? That's so funny. He reads The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes confirmed. That's a funny concept to me. Wow. There's nothing I can say to that.
That prosecutor loves the sound of his own voice.
Oh my gosh. Mr. Sato.
Serialized detective stories are pathetic, are they? How dare he?
I think you're upset for the wrong reasons, Mrs. Sato. Maybe let's pick our battles here.
My lord, might I be allowed to speak?
Oh no.
As judicial assistant, you may speak for the defense. Yes, go ahead.
The prosecution may consider the idea a fantasy, but what the defense has postulated was believable enough to persuade the jury to change its leaning.
They're all deluded too. Moving on.
And as such, the court has a duty to explore this alternative explanation as thoroughly as possible. To that end... Juror number 4, Miss Jane Garadip, must be called to testify and submit to cross-examination.
She's unconscious.
Saints alive! A cross-examination of a juror?
Oh my god, this can't happen! We have to get a new jury! I like that their scarf is connected as well. I haven't pointed it out.
Order, order, order! Well, this is highly irregular. It is unprecedented for a member of the jury to be summoned to the witness stand.
Yeah, and unnecessary. His voice even cracked. He's that upset about it. And that also means that he should drink some wine, which Jesus can turn water into wine, so I'm drinking water.
Lord Van Zeeks.
This is the, second time he's done this? It's hilarious. There are already witnesses in the stand whose testimony the defense may further cross-examine. If my learned friend's farcical theory has any truth in it, then both a burning book and a jackknife must have flown through the sky before this couple's eyes. And we must assume they would be able to testify accordingly.
What say you, witnesses? Sorry, witness.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, he's not here. Yes, sir. Constable Raleigh Beat reporting for duty, sir. He's awake. What a miracle. Well. Good morning, officer. Oh, he has a very good dry humor. Good morning, officer. Sorry for dozing until now, sir. I couldn't help it. I haven't slept for a month. Oh my god. On account of a villain who's appeared on my beat, sir.
Oh, they are so heroic, these London bobbies.
Trisha, my darling, I've been neglecting you, but no more.
Oh, Ronnie, my hero! You make me swoon.
Shut up. God. I'm sorry, I can't handle this right now.
Very well. I hereby reject the defense's request. I swear to God.
Oh.
And all of the witnesses in the stand to testify again now that Mr. Beat has awoken. State forthwith before the court any details pertaining to the defense's alternative explanation of events. Mr. Beat, do you need us to rerun through it? We can read the court record to you if you'd like.
Yes, sir. Oh, do I have to? This case has nothing to do with Mr. and Miss Garrett. Believe me, London Bobby's good for his word. That's why I'm sleeping on the stand. I know everything that's happening around me. He didn't even wake up when he threw a wine bottle into when he threw the wine glass into the fire, when he threw a wine bottle into the gallery. He didn't even wake up for that. He has no idea what's going on, ever. You see, sir? The windows on the top floor of the Garrett household are top hinged casements. How the hell do you know that?
Obviously, if anything had been thrown out of the window, we would have seen it. I did leave the scene to go and fetch help, but my trusty Romy was there to make sure nothing was disturbed.
Did you not see any smoke?
I didn't take my eye off the crime scene for a moment, sir, except for the time I was lying face down on the ground. Nothing strange to report on that front, sir.
Well, this is quite startling. Top-hinged casement windows.
That detail was not in the police report, Constable. Was it necessary? He's doing the woo. He's just a little guy.
Yes, I'm sorry about that. I must have been a little drowsy.
Oh my god. But it's not an excuse, it's an explanation. This poor guy. It is completely the police's fault that this guy cannot do his job. It's not his fault. You cannot excuse your sins with drowsiness every time, Constable.
No, sir.
Sorry, but
what exactly is a top-hinged casement window?
And you cannot excuse your ignorance with such trite remarks, my learned friend. I got to the country 2 days ago. The hell do you want from me? I mean, really. Of course. Sorry.
I found it, Mr. Naruto.
Oh, of course she has. Of course she's found it. He shouldn't have even said anything. He should have just turned to her and he would have been saved the embarrassment.
Cast your mind back to the windows in Mr. and Miss Garrett's room.
Alright, I'll try. Flashback, I knew it.
So the window opens in order to allow air to circulate inside the house. That's kind of the point of windows.
Ah!
But as it's a top-hinged casement window, it swings open along the upper edge, you see. I have a picture of the Garrett house in my book.
Oh my god, that's so creepy. I'm glad you've rectified your ignorance. Let us throw you in Japan and see how well you do, Van Zeeks. A casement window's most prominent feature is its stay, a metal bar which prevents the window from being opened beyond a certain amount.
It prevents it opening?
This is all news to me.
Absolutely correct, sir. In other words, if a book or a knife were to have been thrown through the open window,
that's in character,
it would have clattered against the pane, falling straight down to the pavement below.
Incredible.
No! Yes.
You see the problem then. Good. Your education in Windows is complete. Me in 8th grade, when in 8th grade computer class, your education in Windows is complete. I'm sorry. It was an easy joke. It had to be made. There was never any possibility of either the book or the knife traveling 15 yards over the road. Hey, you didn't know that until, Raleigh Beat just said something, so shut up. That is, unless the window pane had been shattered. Something we've discounted already. That can't be! Where? Where's the bee, Mr. Naruto? I'll get it. Did you see that, Raleigh? That young Japanese man just collapsed in agony. She's so happy about it. Oh, yes, my darling, I saw it. I saw how he crumbled before me. Oh, Raleigh, you're so strong. How is this happening? I haven't even started the cross-examination yet, and already my argument's been destroyed.
Indeed. Counsel, if you could drag yourself upright again, the court awaits your cross-examination.
Looks like he's in physical pain when he does that. My lord. Good. Another desperate situation. I love desperate situations. Alrighty. So, this case has nothing to do. Nothing whatsoever. How do you know that, is the question. How can you say that for certain? Very good question, sir. And the answer is this. It has the noble founding principles of the force written on it as a reminder to all us policemen of our sworn duty.
Just doing his voice makes me yawn.
I don't... Just looking at him makes me yawn.
He showed us that before, didn't he?
Did he? Can't say I remember. Yeah, he did. Patrol the streets of London town and uphold the peace of the common man. It's what the job's all about. That's why I can stand here today beside my long-suffering wife and tell you Bobby's good for his word. While rubbing my tired eyes, admittedly, sir. Poor guy. Oh, Raleigh, you're so manly. It's only true. Of course I am, my darling Patricia. Oh, Pat. Oh, Raleigh. No, none of this is what I meant. I meant, how can you say for certain that this case has nothing to do with Mr. and Miss Garrett? Oh, I see. You should have said so earlier, sir. Yes, well, so could you answer the question? That was a waste of time then. Absolutely, sir. Answer it to the fullest of my ability, sir. There's a surprising reason why Mr. and Mrs. Garrett's domestic dispute can't be related to the case. But before I get into that, sir, just one thing. Yes, hurry, please. Very much like you and all your countrymen to understand the Great British Institute of Scotland Yard. Do I have to? So I hope you take back some tales of us London Bobbies and how we uphold our guiding principles. I wasn't planning on going back just yet. I've only just arrived here. So to that end, sir, I'd be happy to lend you my white card for your perusal. But I must warn you, you won't be able to get through it without shedding a few tears. Thank you. I'll try. Okay. Weird. Let's look at it. Policeman must strive to preserve the peace within his allotted beat. A patrolling officer is expected to walk 20 miles around his beat every day for the furtherance of community relations. Any crimes... Wait, what was that then? Principles of policing. Okay, so, that. Okay, whatever. Any crimes that fall under the jurisdiction of the beat in which they are discovered. When a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigations and help detectives. By which you mean they don't open fully. Is that correct? Yes, Oh, I thought that was just gonna be the end of it. Okay, cool.
They just had to allow a bit of air through the house, you see, so they're restricted as to how much they can open.
And therefore anything thrown out of the window from inside the room would simply strike the pane and fall to the street directly below. For clarity, allow me to mark on the map. I'm the only one that gets to write on this. This is my beautiful drawing. He made all of the maps for London. Handmade them. That was what he did in those 5 years. He was an artist. You love to see it. He was an artist and he was a ballerina. Here is the location where objects would have fallen. That's what you would like to think. Wouldn't that be convenient?
Yes. Directly opposite the scene of the crime, on the other side of the rather wide road.
Would it have been so hard for somebody to mention this top-hinged casement thing before? The only person that knew about it was asleep. So yes, it would have been hard. You really think the investigating officers investigated the, like, houses of the people across the road? I doubt it. Well, I have another question for you, Constable.
And what would that be, sir?
How do you even know? Thank you. Why would you have any idea what sort of windows Mr. and Miss Garrett's house is furnished with?
Oh, well, sir, it's very simple. You see, I helped with the investigation.
I'm glad I gave her the right voice. Alright, Excuse me. Do you have something to add, Miss Beat?
Sorry?
You look, well, delighted. Is there some particular reason for that?
Oh, I was just remembering, that's all. We really were so lucky.
Lucky? What do you mean?
Well, of course I feel terrible for the poor woman who was attacked. Don't misunderstand me, please. But we were just so lucky it didn't happen on Raleigh's beat. It was so close, you see.
Okay. Oh, I hadn't realized.
Oh yes, that street by road, that's the boundary between Raleigh's beat and the next one. Isn't that right, my love?
He doesn't know. Constable Beat. Oh my gosh.
Huh? Oh, yes, that's right.
This poor guy.
That's the reason I was up and out with interviewing the occupants of the Garrett household yesterday. The house is on my beat, you see, sir.
Really was cutting it close then.
Constable, I wonder if you could clarify something. If the Garrett household is on your beat, does that mean that the pavement next to it is as well? Outside Mr. Garrett's house? Yes, ma'am. The pavement on that side of the road is part of my beat.
I see. I was unaware of that.
Just think, if the woman had been attacked just on the other side of Briar Road, we would never have been able to go for that meal to celebrate our wedding anniversary. But that's the life of a Bobby, after all.
Extraordinary people, our Bobbies. Tireless work for working for the benefit of all Londoners.
Do you know what I think? I think it was the good Lord's way of rewarding my Raleigh for all his hard work. Don't you think so, my darling? That must be it, Pat, my love. That must be it.
I think perhaps we should make sure we have that information officially on record.
Leave it to me, Mr. Naruhodo. I'll take care of it immediately.
Okay, thank you.
And now it's my turn, I think.
To give a testimony? Okay. But according to my notes here, the sun had gone down already and it was dark.
Oh, but Raleigh and I were strolling along, gazing at the night sky and looking for a lucky star.
Sorry?
The star that will guide us to eternal happiness.
Can't it guide you to answer the question? Can't it guide you to some bitches? I'm sorry. Can it guide you to answer the question? That's a good roast. It's a good roast. If a flaming book had cut across the sky in front of us, it would have lit up like a shooting star. Can we pretend that airplanes? And
if I'd seen a shooting star, I would have made a wish upon it.
I could really use a wish right now.
Let Raleigh be an inspector, I would have said. 3 times at least.
Oh my gosh. Of course, what with the smog and everything, we couldn't actually see any stars. In short, are you trying to say that neither a book nor a knife crossed the sky before you? He's so sick of their bullshit. Yes, sir, that's correct, sir. As sure as the night sky in London is starless, sir. Oh. Certainly seems like they're telling the truth.
And then we saw the poor woman fall to the ground, so we ran straight over to help her.
Okay. Yes, you said that you went to a nearby police box to fetch another officer. Is that right?
That's right, yes.
I was almost him.
That's right, yes. If it had been on Raleigh's speed, I would have known exactly where I was going, of course.
Don't feel bad, my love. You can't be expected to know the location of every police box on every beat.
So Raleigh told me the way, only I sort of got a little lost on the way.
Patricia, my darling, that's why I love you. Your terrible sense of direction is bewitching to me. Oh, Pat.
Oh, Raleigh.
Oh, please. Right? That's what I'm saying.
So, I suppose I was gone for about 15 minutes. But like I said, my Raleigh was at the scene the whole time, making sure nothing was disturbed while he was sleeping in the snow.
I was off duty at the time, of course, but a true Bobby's never really off duty, sir. So sad. Nothing to report. Why does that phrase sound so familiar? That's correct, sir. Had my eyes wide open the entire time. Never looked away for a second. No one else approached the scene and nothing was removed from it. I can swear to that on the yard's honor, sir. Really? That seems a little strange, does it? I beg your pardon, sir? Strange, sir? Seems altogether regular to me. This burnt copy of The Lion's Pride was originally in the Garrett household. So the question remains, how did it find its way into the hand of the victim? Can you shed any light on that, seeing as you were at the scene of the crime the entire time? Aha! Could it be a different copy, sir? One that just happened to be burnt as well? That's ridiculous. Even if that were possible, why would the victim have been gripping a book like that in her hand? As we can see from this photographic print, she had a bag over her shoulder. That's true. Or maybe it didn't fit. Well, sir, that book was in the lady's hand from the moment we arrived at the scene. Is that so? There's something about this statement that's not sitting right with me. The two mysteries of how that knife ended up in her back and how that book ended up in her hand. There must be some common thread between them.
Can I ask you something? Please, Mr. Lawyer, sir.
Oh god, what is it this time? Oh, yes, of course. What is it?
You're doubting us, aren't you?
I knew she was gonna do that.
I can tell.
Okay, so what? What? I wasn't really. I mean, what is she doing?
Please, just because I'm a woman, it doesn't make my testimony any less valuable.
I didn't say that. I did not say that.
You might just see me as the wife of a policeman, but I'm a woman of my word, I am.
That's great. Good for you. Listen, the person voicing Ryunosuke right now is a woman. And I can guarantee that it's not that I don't trust you because you're a woman. I don't trust you because you weren't there, so you don't know what happened while you were gone. Like, and your husband was asleep. I really don't remember ever suggesting that I doubted you. I mean, really.
No excuses. I don't want to hear it.
Oh, not again.
My voice will be heard. My lord, you'll let me speak, won't you?
Why? What do you mean? You've been speaking this whole time. What do you mean?
Yes, Miss Beat, I will allow you to supplement your testimony if you so desire. Again, sometimes the path of least resistance is the sage one.
That was a very loud mutter.
I heard that. A Japanese man thinks a policeman's wife's words counts for nothing, does he?
I never said that. I never said that.
Well, watch out, sir. I might let you get away with something like that, but my Ronnie won't.
No, it's clear that you won't let him. Duly noted, Miss Beat. Please, I humbly ask you to continue. Why'd they cut the music for that?
What could she possibly be about to say, I wonder?
Right?
I know what I saw. My eyes never let me down. My sense of direction's
A little off sometimes, though. Oh my god. Miss Beat, nobody is questioning what you've told us.
I saw it, I did. That evening, I saw it clearly. That little Eastern man with the whiskers and the funny curved back, slinking away from the scene.
He was shrinking. Oh.
And I know what I didn't see as well. I didn't see any flaming books or knives flying through the sky.
All very clear. But the sky, however, was not. You also mentioned something about having a poor sense of direction?
Oh, yes, well, that's a little embarrassing, really. I'm always ending up at the wrong place when I've made arrangements to meet Raleigh. He gets ever so cross.
Oh no.
Excuse me.
Constable Beat, is there a problem? My head hurts, sir. Oh gosh. It appears that there is a problem. Oh my gosh, this poor guy. No, sir, no problem, sir. Did your wife's remark just now bring something to mind, perhaps? Oh, what did she say? I can't remember. Well, in a way, sir, yes, sir. I was just remembering that the same thing happened that evening is all. You mean Miss Mead lost her way? She told us this on the night of the incident. Well, you see, I sent off to find a police box in the next beat over from mine. If you know she has a bad sense of direction, why didn't you just go yourself? Or go together? She was gone a fair bit longer than what I was expecting. I thought she'd be back inside 10 minutes, but my darling was gone a good 15. That's not that bad.
Oh, Ronnie, you're such a tease.
What?
But the reason I was so long was because of the bouquet, silly.
The bouquet? Sorry, what bouquet are you talking about?
Oh, it was a present for our wedding anniversary. Ronnie's so romantic. He saved up for it with farthings and halfpennies he found in the gutter while doing his routines. His rounds.
Yes, how romantic. Take notes, Ryunosuke.
I've forgotten all about it until just now. Had you, my darling?
He doesn't. Yes. What was that?
That was just between us. No talking about it to anyone else, darling. You have to promise.
What?
Really? Oh.
What was that all about? Constable Beat looked very obviously troubled during that exchange.
I'm afraid I can't offer any useful insight, Mr. Naruto.
I didn't expect you to. This is crazy. But I'm quite sure of one thing. We have to ask Miss Beat about that bouquet while her husband's asleep. Miss Beat! This bouquet! Miss Beat, this bouquet you just mentioned. He's trying to be quiet. I'd like you to add details about it to your testimony, please.
Oh, really? Yes, I'd love to.
She doesn't catch his drift. She doesn't.
Why are you being so quiet? Why are you whispering?
Oh,
What happened was I dropped my bouquet and ended up losing my way for a while.
okay. You mean you dropped the bouquet at the scene of the crime?
Yes, that's right. Oh, I was so upset. When we ran over and saw it was a woman with a knife in her back, I was so shocked I dropped the bouquet Rolly gave me. It was in a dark spot where the street lights weren't casting any light, so I didn't notice it first.
And then you went to the police box to report it to the policeman whose beat it was on.
Yes, and I came back to the scene together with the other constable, you see. That's when I spotted my bouquet again. But the funny thing was, when I went to pick it up, it was nowhere near the victim's body at all.
In case you need reminding, Miss Beat, the victim is not deceased. Thank you for reminding us, Svenzies.
I was all flustered for a moment before I heard a voice calling me from the other side of the road.
Your husband, presumably.
That's right, silly me, I'd gone over to the wrong side of the street. Although I'm going to blame the bouquet this time, I can't think of how it got there, I really can't.
So the bouquet somehow moved from one side of Briar Road to the opposite.
Curious indeed.
Isn't it? But the worst of it is, I forgot to pick the bouquet up again when we left the scene. That beautiful rose Rolly bought me, with that change from the gutter he spent so long collecting.
By bouquet, do you perhaps mean this sorry, solitary rose? Oh, it's so sweet, though. You know how much money he had to spend? Like, he's broke, and he spent his money on that. That's very nice of him.
Oh, yes, that's it! That's the bouquet Rolly bought me for our anniversary, with those bits of change he found in the gutter.
Why are you mad? Because he hasn't? Maybe just call it a rose.
Tell us, Lord Van Zeeks, where did you come by the flower?
According to the report by the police officer in charge of the crime scene investigation, it was found on the edge of the pavement in front of the Garadib household.
In front of the Garadib's house?
Although it wasn't noticed until morning, as it lay where the street lamps cast no light, and nobody thought to bring a lantern or something. I don't know why I almost gave him a something. It was believed to be of no relevance to the case, since it was found on the opposite side of the thoroughfare.
Oh, thank you, sir, thank you. Can I have it back now, please? Oh, you giving me a rose is even more romantic than Rolly giving me a rose.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't do that to her, but I don't like her.
No, I think for good measure this rose should be added to the court record as evidence.
Oh,
I mean, it was kind of on the crime scene.
but it's a symbol of our love.
Well, you'll get it back.
I want it back after the trial. Do you hear me? I want it back.
Okay.
Good grief! Rest assured that I shall do my very best not to forget, Miss Beat.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so nothing strange happened, but the bouquet ended up on the opposite side of the street. Or the rose ended up on the other side of the street. How did that conspire without him noticing it? You claim, Constable Beat, there was nothing to report in the 15 or so minutes you were guarding the scene. But that cannot be.
What do you mean to say?
In your testimony just now, Miss Beat, you explained to the court that when you arrived back at the scene of the crime with the policeman assigned to that beat, the bouquet you had dropped at the victim's side was no longer anywhere nearby. Objection. Yes, on the opposite side of Briar Road to where the victim was attacked. But considering the size of that meager bouquet, if a single sorry bloom can be so described. No doubt it was blown in the wind across the street, back into the gutter where it belongs. Man, it's... That's so evil. That's so mean. I was happy for him for sticking up for the poor, but now he is making fun of the poor. and that's bad. That's dumb.
Meager?
How dare you insult that rose? But if that were the case, why did Constable Beat not testify to the fact? I don't know, because he didn't, like, if anything, wouldn't he have just gone and grabbed it? Like, it was just across the street. He knew nobody was around. Wouldn't he have seen it and just grabbed it and not made any note of it anywhere? Like, you would think if he had seen it. Cause you wouldn't go, oh yeah, the rose I bought my wife blew across the street and I didn't grab it. I let it blow. He was asleep, man. It's so obvious. I mean, it's so likely. It's very likely.
And no one else approached the scene and nothing was removed from it. Constable Beat swore to that on Scotland Yard's honour. But the bouquet belonged to me. It has nothing to do with the case. That's why Raleigh didn't mention it, I'm sure.
No, because sadly, it's not only your bouquet we're talking about here. More than one thing in this case is mysteriously the wrong way round. What are you talking about? Think about it. Besides Miss Beat's bouquet, there's Mr. Garridib's book. And the knife that made her faint, by the way. Mr. Garridib's copy of The Lion's Pride, which was thrown out of the window by his wife, would have struck the pane of the casement window and landed here, on the west side of the street. And yet... was actually found here, on the opposite side of the road in the victim's hand. Meanwhile, according to the testimony we've heard, Miss Beat's bouquet should have been dropped here, at the scene of the crime on the east side of the street. But it went, what did I say, 45 feet to the opposite side of the road? No way. But in fact, was actually found here on the opposite side of the road in front of Mr. and Miss Garridib's house. There's no logical explanation for those things, unless somebody deliberately moved them. Interesting.
What are you trying to say? The way you're talking, it sounds like you think my Raleigh's done something wrong.
Oh, hi, Miss Garridib. Has she been back? Don't listen to a word that scrawny lawyer says. Wittering on about books and bouquets. Why should we care? It's nitpicking, that's what it is. Oh, good. Miss Garridib's come round. We didn't bother to help her. Everyone forgot. I like to think that everybody forgot. You might call it You might call it nitpicking, Miss Garridib. But deliberately meddling with the scene of a crime is a criminal offense. It's called, tampering, Mr. Naruto. Okay, since English is not his first language, I'm gonna give it to him. But, like, I feel like Phoenix Wright would pull this shit, too. And, like, that is his native language, so I would be mad at Phoenix Wright for not knowing it. But he might have known it in Japanese, and it was just, the English word was just not coming. So I'll take it. He gets a pass. But the person responsible for this tampering cannot admit to it, for a very subtle but compelling reason.
Objection.
Tampering! You've barely heard the term before! Tell us, my learned friend, who would possibly have had cause to carry out such an elaborate deception? I know. Yes, there is someone who tampered with the scene of the crime that evening, and it would be him, because that was his beat, and if the crime was on his beat, he wouldn't be able to go out with his wife. So he moved everything because she literally walked over there and was like, yo, this is where the crime is, and it wasn't. And she was like, oh, silly me. He gaslit her into believing she was lost. Yikes. That's the theory right now, anyway. All the evidence and all the testimony points to that one particular person. Yep.
Counsel, I must demand that you substantiate this conjecture. Who are you saying is responsible for tampering with the scene of the crime?
Sorry. Take that. Obviously, there's only one person it could have been. Constable Rowley Beat, it was you!
What? A policeman? A member of Scotland Yard?
Yeah, that doesn't look good on us, does it?
What nonsense! Why would my Raleigh do something like that? There's no one straighter than my husband!
Oh, I'm sorry.
No Bobby works more tirelessly for the people of London.
Miss Beat, you said in your testimony that your husband asked you to go to a nearby police box to fetch the officer on duty. The 15 minutes that you were absent from the scene is the only opportunity anyone had to tamper with it.
You're making it up! It's all nonsense! It's all lies! What about the Japanese man with the whiskers? I bet it was him. He did it.
You testified that you watched him run away. If that was true, Constable Bede would have seen him do it.
Oh. And forgive me for pointing it out, but when you dropped your bouquet, Miss Beat, it was after the defendant had fled the scene. Ah, well...
First, you make accusations about the landlord and his wife, and now you incriminate a policeman as well. But your accusations lack one very important thing. You claim the crime scene was tampered with. But there's only one reason anyone would commit such a reckless crime. To hide something, not necessarily.
That's right, he's right. But my husband and I just happened to be there, that's all. So why would we have anything to hide? It doesn't make sense.
You've offered no motive for this alleged tampering. I've got one. And until you do, your accusations are nothing but empty threats. I've got something. Constable Bede had a very good reason for wanting to tamper with the scene of the crime. I wouldn't say that. That's the key to this entire affair.
Mr. Naruhodo, have you managed to solve this mystery?
Of course I have.
Counsel, you have made a very serious accusation against a London police officer. If you are mistaken, I'm sure I need not point out that your reputation as a lawyer will be irrevocably damaged. Okay, with that stark warning in mind, you will now explain to the court the motive for this alleged tampering.
Yes, my lord. Constable Bede's motive for tampering with the crime scene was to hide where the victim fell. Where the crime scene was. Because then the crime scene makes it, it wouldn't be on his beat anymore if he moved it. Where the victim fell to the ground. That is what this Bobby had to cover up at all costs. What?
Where the victim fell? You mean where she was attacked? What are you talking about? We told you at the very start, didn't we? On the pavement of Briar Road. We saw it happen, remember?
Which side? You sure?
It was right here, as if anyone didn't already know.
That's certainly what everybody's been led to believe. But in fact, that's not where the victim was stabbed at all.
What? What?
I'm beginning to wonder where this tumultuous trial will end, counsel.
If that's your assertion, then the court is dying to know, mighty pony's friend. Where are you proposing that the crime actually took place that evening? The other side, obviously.
Take that! But that's...
On the opposite side of the road.
I don't understand.
On the evening in question, Mr. Garridib's book fell directly down from the open window above, and your bouquet, Miss Beat, never moved at all. What did move was the scene of the crime itself.
Good gracious!
Yeah! Sorry, I like doing those. Perhaps you haven't been listening to the ample testimony the court has heard. But these witnesses both saw the moment the attack took place.
That's right. I saw it with my own eyes.
It was 5 o'clock in the evening and already dark. There was the typical London fog on the ground. When you saw the incident unfold and ran to the victim's aid, that was actually on the west side of Briar Road.
No, that's not true. It can't have been.
Constable Beat then arranged for you to be absent for a while by sending you for help. And during the 15 minutes you were away, he transplanted the crime scene. He moved all the things shown in this print, the victim herself, the 4 books. He moved everything, in fact, to the pavement on the east side of Briar Road.
Extraordinary!
But the constable overlooked one thing.
What? What did he overlook?
The bouquet, I presume. Good, you catch on quick. Exactly.
The prosecution told the court just a few minutes ago about the discovery of the rose bouquet. Lord Benzique said it wasn't noticed until the morning, as it lay where the street lamps cast no light.
Yes, it couldn't be seen in the dark, obviously.
Which is why it was only the bouquet that was found in its original position on the pavement on the west side of Briar Road. Yeah. And that is the defense's theory about what really happened that evening. How do you respond? Constable Raleigh Beat?
Well, I'm very sorry. I didn't mean to nod off again.
Oh, he's covering up.
But I haven't slept properly in a month. Did I miss anything important? Oh, Rolly, it isn't true, is it? What that lawyer said is all lies, isn't it? I know it is, because you're the most upstanding, righteous man I know.
Oh, no.
I had a dream, a terrible dream. All the things I did that night, everything come out, everything exposed.
Okay. Gosh.
Only it seems it wasn't a dream at all.
Good golly! Order! What on earth is the meaning of all this?
Oh, Polly, why? Why would you do something like this?
Why does she still have that look? That's certainly not what she's thinking right now, right? She must feel so betrayed.
Moving a corpse is a criminal offense, isn't it?
She's not a corpse, but, yes. Wishing the victim dead should be one, too. Sorry, we only ever go to trial for murder here, so it's a little confusing to her.
Constable, explain yourself. Why would you do this? As a respected member of Scotland Yard, your duty is to protect the good people of London town.
I can't say, sir.
What?
I really am ever so sorry about all this. For damaging the Yard's reputation, for everything.
That don't change the fact that you did it, bucko. I have a possible explanation for why, on that particular evening, Constable Beat felt compelled to move the scene of the crime. I can think of one reason. What? How could you possibly know? You're pretty stupid for not having figured it out by now, man. Like, it was on his beat. Like, they even hinted at it. You! Oh my gosh! He's so mad. You, a foreigner, presuming to understand the mind of a Scotland Yard policeman. Shut up.
And yet, Lord Van Ziegs, it is this foreigner who has uncovered the startling truth of the matter thus far.
Get his ass! Get him! I just got humbled.
I believe it would be beneficial to the court to hear this extraordinary young lawyer's theory.
Thank you, Santa! Look at us go! Look at us go! Sorry, I hit my mic. It probably made a really bad noise. But yeah, look at us go. We did it. We did it.
Counsel for the defense, if you please.
Yes, my lord! Oh my gosh, I'm a teacher's pet. I'm on the nice list.
Now then, I think you had better show us some evidence.
Okay, at once, my lord. England, Japan, it makes no difference where you come from. Human emotions are the same. That's so true, Ryunosuke. I think I have a fairly good idea of the feelings behind this man's actions.
What gives away the motive for Constable Beat's unthinkable actions?
This. Because, yeah, they must... When a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigations.
Take that!
I realize that I'm a foreigner in this land, and I have only just arrived from Japan. Is this relevant, Ryunosuke? Which is why all this information about London's so-called bobbies is completely new to me. I've learned that, though honourable, patrolling the beat is the most demanding work in the world, for example.
Keeping the peace, looking after the citizens on his beat in all kinds of ways. There's no doubt that the young bobby is charged with a great deal to do each day, certainly, and not paid enough for it either. But for Constable Beat, the day in question was special. Special?
How? It was his wedding anniversary, you idiot. On account of this bouquet, my lord. Obviously. Oh, yes. It was our very first wedding anniversary. Yep. He gets where we're going now. Constable Beat had worked so hard to be able to afford this simple gift for his wife, and was so looking forward to take her out for a celebratory meal, when he and Miss Beat stumbled upon a crime along Briar Road. When he saw that shadowy figure through the fog collapse on the pavement ahead of them, what must have gone through the man's mind? So, on that one particular day, I was looking forward to celebrate my wedding anniversary. Yeah, he was sad. So bad for them. This is the warrant card that Constable Beat offered to lend to me earlier. Inside, among the rules for patrolling policemen, it says, when a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigations and help detectives.
Aha!
Yeah. Constable Beat. Is that, or is that not, the reason why you moved the whole scene of the crime that day?
Yes. Everything you said, it's all right.
So that's it. It was all to do with the boundary of your beat.
Oh.
Exactly. To summarize, the incident actually occurred on Constable Beat's beat.
Good gracious! Constable, do you realize the gravity of what you have done?
It was the first time since I became a copper that I'd ever cursed God.
Oh my gosh.
Stay close to me, Pat. A criminal could still be lurking somewhere. As we ran over to the scene, I had every intention of doing my duty as a police officer. I've got to report this to the station as quickly as possible. Then it dawned on me. I realized where we were, where the victim was lying, and what that meant for me. When a crime's discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigations and help detectives. Why here? Why did this have to happen here? Why tonight of all nights? Why?
Poor guy.
It's a copper's job to guard the scene of the crime, so I told Pat she'd have to go to the nearest police box and fetch whoever was on duty there. It was in my mouth to speak. It just came out. I couldn't believe the words that were coming out of my own mouth. This is the next beat to mine, Pat. So you have to go to the police box that covers it. Turn right along Mersham Street and then...
So sad, man. Oh.
Oh. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, Constable. I just wanted just that one night take my Patricia out for dinner. Oh, Ronnie. Just that one night.
You knew that if the incident was on your beat, your evening of celebration would be ruined. And so you decided to move the entire crime scene outside your jurisdiction. Just across the street to the east pavement of Briar Road, which falls under the neighboring beat's care.
You see, I thought, well, I was sure the victim was dead, you see.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, of course he did. Otherwise my Ronnie would never have left the poor woman on the freezing cold pavement.
What could he have done? Like,
Oh, I see your meaning now.
yeah, he would have gotten an ambulance.
But God got me back for my sins, didn't he? That's why I missed the rose I bought for Pat. Oh no, Ronnie, that was all my fault. I should never have dropped it in such a dark place. I'm so sorry, Ronnie.
And can you tell us, Constable, how many books did you move from one side of the road to the other in total?
4 it was. Yes, sir. Definitely 4. 3 of them dropped by Mr. Natsumi, and the 4th being the one that fell from the window upstairs in the Garrett household, of course.
But what made you place that book in the victim's hand? Had to have already been there, right? When all the others were scattered haphazardly around, I mean.
Oh, well, sir, it's 'cause that's how I found it.
How you found it? What do you mean?
When we first ran over to the scene, victim was already holding the book. So, when I moved everything, I made sure it was still in her hand.
You're sure it was this book, Lion's Pride, that the victim was holding?
Oh, yes, sir. No doubt about it, sir.
Interesting.
I thought it was an open and shut case at the time, you see. There were only 2 people at the scene, and me, Pat, and me both saw it happen. However which way you looked at it, it had to be the fellow who ran off who'd done it, I thought. I couldn't see the harm, really. I didn't think moving it all over the road would make a jot of a difference. I suppose this is it for me now. I've had it.
My lord.
Yes, Lord Fenzies.
Oh my god. I believe that concludes the cross-examination of the witnesses. Constable, you may withdraw.
Yes, sir. Mr. Prosecutor, sir. What will become of my Raleigh? What will happen to him?
For now, you are free to go home. The police will contact you in due course.
Please, don't punish my husband. This was all my fault. It's because I'm always moaning at him for coming home late. Leave it now, Pat. Let's go home. I'm tired. Alright then, my love.
One last thing, Constable.
Sir?
Let this be a lesson to you. In a criminal investigation, every detail matters, however insignificant it may seem to you.
Yes, sir.
Carve that lesson in your mind. And never again make the mistake of tampering with the scene of a crime.
Never again, sir. You mean to say...
Leave. Now. This trial is not yet over.
Sir!
Okay. So he Venzeeks was like, I feel bad for this guy. I'm gonna try to let him go. And then he was like, are you letting me go? And then he got embarrassed and told him to get out. Leave now, you're making me blush. Oh, it's funny. It's funny. Okay. I forgot it got so emotional. So I had to, obviously I have to match that. So, yeah. Oh, if I had face cam, you'd probably laugh at me because I do cry a little bit when I do those. I can't help it. I'm acting, man.
Well, quite a startling revelation, I must say. Whoever thought of a third party transplanting the entire scene of the crime like that?
There's another testimony? Oh my god. I'm gonna cry. That's right. I'm gonna cry. I don't want to do it. I don't want to. Indeed, my lord. Nevertheless, there are some immutable facts here. Principally, that the accused, Mr. Soseki Natsumi, is the only person who could have possibly committed this crime. No, I disagree. Now that we know the true scene of the incident, there is someone else. Venzeeks is obviously trying to deflect from this. I think he realized it too. Another person who could be responsible for the knife in the victim's back.
Forgive me for being presumptuous, but I believe the prosecution is probably well aware of this possibility already.
I literally just said it.
Lord Venzeeks, is this true?
Yes. Very well. Name the person if you will, and if further investigation is warranted. The prosecution has no objection to the trial continuing. Okay. It's a little bit less, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, I guess harsh. He's a little less cold now. Yeah, he seems like he's calmed down a little bit. Okay, you'll name the other person? It was Iris Wilson. She has a degree in medicine as the author. She's so goated. I miss her. I want her back on my screen immediately. Okay, you'll name this other person who could have perpetrated the crime.
Take that!
The defense would once again like to request the cross-examination of a new witness, my lord.
Once again?
My assistant made the same request earlier, and nobody listened to her, in order to finally reveal the truth about this case. It's imperative that we cross-examine juror number 4, Miss Joan Garrideb. Me? Oh dearie me! That request has already been denied. Yeah, on grounds that are no longer relevant, yeah. But the situation is very different now. Miss Garridip, riddle me this, Miss Garridip. What do you want now, you little toad? At the time of the incident, you were engaged in a violent argument with your husband, Mr. John Garridip. In the course of the argument, a minor house fire was ignited. And to clear the smoke from the room, your husband opened a window that looks out over Briar Road. Well, what of it? You threw this book at your husband when he was cornered with his back against the window. Upon striking the pane of the open top-hinged casement window, the book plummeted directly down, finding its way to what we now know to be the true scene of the incident. Yes, and as I said, what of it? During the argument, you were beside yourself with rage. As such, you threw not just books, but anything you could lay your hands on. So, let me ask you one more time, Miss Garridip. This knife, the one removed from the victim's back, have you really never laid eyes on it before? Oh. I don't recall it. Seriously. Am I supposed to remember everything I picked up and threw at my husband? Yes. And anyway, the man over there in all that regalia... Regalia? Okay. Said members of the jury needn't testify, didn't he? It's not that you needn't testify, it's that you can't, and what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to get a new jury, but they don't care about that in this video game. Conveniently, yes.
Objection.
Oh. No! I have no recollection of saying that at all, juror number 4. She tried to twist his words. Oh. Make no mistake. You jurors are not special in any way. They literally are. Like, during this trial. You are not immune to the judicial process. If you know something about this knife, madam, let the truth come out. But that's just a common or garden knife. It could have come from anywhere. We have several like that at home. Oh my god. If one went missing, how would you expect me to know? What's that? You have several of them at home? Are you joking?
What are you saying, please, Miss Garridip?
That was a very careless slip of the tongue. Now you listen to me. I refuse to believe all this nonsense. I couldn't bear the thought that I'd injured someone. Do you hear? I couldn't bear it. You were aiming to injure your husband. What is different? Like, the motive for crimes transfers, right? If you are throwing books at your husband, but you accidentally hit someone else with the book, you still hit them with the book, you know? Like, that doesn't mean anything different. In your rage, you hit them with a book, and in her rage, she hit her with the knife. Got him. Oh, the poor woman. I don't feel bad for her at all. She's evil. So, yes, I want evidence. I want to see hard evidence if you're going to insist on this being my fault. You're going to have to prove to me that I threw that knife, if that's what you think. Come along now. Chop chop. Do your worst. Well, Mr. Naruto, I don't have shit. If I had evidence like that, believe me, I would have thrown it out already. Then take the stand, juror! Oh. Look at him go. The prosecution does not object to the defense's request to cross-examine this woman. Thank you, Lord Van Zieks. Took you long enough to come around. I'm going to have to testify. Yep, get up there.
Juror number 4, as I'm sure you will appreciate, having observed it with your own eyes today, witness testimony can lead to the most extraordinary truths being unearthed, truths of which the witnesses themselves may not even have been aware. Oh, dearie me. So I demand your full and unadulterated testimony, Miss Garrett, if not Mr. And mark my words, in this court of law today we shall extract the truth. Do you concur, counsels?
Certainly, my lord. Oh, of course. That's what I'm hoping for, my lord. He zoned out. Oh, new angle. Such a strange feeling. For the first time since arriving in this country, it actually feels real. I'm here, in the Old Bailey, and I'm a lawyer! Yep, that's true, Ryunosuke. What else do you want me to say? You're correct. Is that it? Is that it?